The trailer doesn't just tease danger, it warns us. Episode 7 looks like the moment where every bad decision finally comes knocking, and Tommy Norris realizes he may have already lost control of his life, his job, and his future. Landman Season 2 Episode 7 picks up right where the tension left off, and the trailer makes one thing painfully clear. The pressure on Tommy Norris is no longer manageable. This isn't about one bad deal or one bad week anymore. This is about everything collapsing at the same time. Tommy is trapped between powerful people who all want something from him, and for the first time, it feels like there's no smart move left to make. Every option comes with a cost, and Episode 7 looks ready to make him pay it in full. The biggest warning sign in the trailer is how isolated Tommy appears. The man who once controlled every room he walked into now looks like someone constantly on the defensive. Conversations feel sharper, silence is heavier, and trust thinner than ever. His relationship with Cammy seems especially fragile. The looks they exchange are no longer professional or strategic, they're suspicious. It feels like Cammy is already preparing for a future where Tommy is no longer useful. In this world, usefulness is everything, and once it's gone, so is your protection. Galliano's presence hangs over the episode like a shadow. Nothing about him feels straightforward, and the trailer doubles down on that unease. His words sound cooperative, but his tone tells another story. He doesn't rush. He doesn't threaten. That's what makes him dangerous. He's the kind of man who waits for you to destroy yourself, then steps in to claim what's left. Episode 7 hints that Galliano may finally get the leverage he's been waiting for, and Tommy might be standing right at the edge when it happens. Rebecca's role becomes far more serious in this episode, and the trailer strongly suggests she's about to make a choice she cannot undo. She's under immense pressure, forced to decide quickly, and the consequences look massive. The confidence she once carried now seems shaky, replaced with urgency and fear. What's troubling is how certain she appears in the moment, even though the trailer hints that this certainty may be her biggest mistake. When Rebecca believes she's doing the right thing, the fallout could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, Angela continues to exist in a completely different emotional universe. While everything around Tommy is burning, she appears almost untouched by the chaos. Her confidence isn't just intact, it's growing. But Episode 7 hints that this imbalance cannot last forever. When one person thrives while another collapses, something always snaps. The trailer subtly suggests that Angela's comfort is built on a foundation that may soon crack, and when it does, the damage will be personal. TL's influence over Tommy also grows darker in this episode. The trailer leans heavily into their strained dynamic, showing a man haunted by the fear of becoming his own father. TL doesn't need to yell or insult anymore. His presence alone is enough to unsettle Tommy. Every word feels like a reminder of a future Tommy desperately wants to avoid. Episode 7 looks ready to push this fear to the surface, forcing Tommy to confront the question he's been avoiding all season. Is he already turning into the man he swore he'd never be? What makes Episode 7 especially dangerous is that no single moment feels explosive on its own. Instead, everything feels quietly wrong. Deals are too calm. Conversations are too polite. Smiles last a second too long. This is the kind of episode where damage is done softly, where the real consequences aren't obvious until it's far too late to stop them. The trailer doesn't promise chaos right away. It promises inevitability. By the end of the trailer, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Tommy isn't fighting to win anymore. He's fighting to survive. And in the world of Landman, survival often means sacrificing someone else, or yourself. Episode 7 looks like the chapter where the story stops asking what could go wrong and starts answering it in brutal detail. Episode 7 doesn't explode with chaos right away. It tightens the noose. Every conversation feels like a test, and every decision feels like it's being watched by someone ready to pull the trigger. As Episode 7 moves forward, the trailer makes it clear that Tommy's professional world is no longer built on trust, but on silent calculations. Every meeting feels like a chess move, and Tommy is no longer the player setting the board. He's reacting, adjusting, and trying to stay one step ahead of people who already seem to know his weaknesses. The calm tone of these interactions is deceptive. This is not peace. This is the moment before betrayal. Cammy's role becomes especially unsettling here. The trailer frames her as someone standing at a crossroads, and whichever direction she chooses will decide Tommy's fate. She listens more than she speaks, and when she does speak, her words are measured and careful. That's never a good sign. It suggests she's already preparing her defense, already deciding how to distance herself from the fallout that's coming. Episode 7 strongly hints that loyalty has an expiration date, and Tommy's time may be running out. Galliano, on the other hand, appears almost relaxed. That confidence tells us everything. He behaves like a man who knows the ending of the story, while everyone else is still guessing. The trailer subtly positions him as the beneficiary of chaos rather than its victim. If the deal collapses, if blame needs to be assigned, Galliano won't be the one standing in the line of fire. Episode 7 looks like the moment where his long game finally starts paying off. Rebecca's storyline takes a darker turn here. The trailer shows her racing against time, surrounded by pressure from every side. She believes she can still fix things, still protect the company, still prove herself. But urgency is dangerous, especially when mixed with pride. The choices she appears ready to make don't feel reckless, but they do feel rushed. Episode 7 quietly suggests that her desire to be decisive may lead her straight into a trap she doesn't see coming. What makes Rebecca's situation even more tragic is how alone she seems. There's no mentor, no safety net, no voice telling her to slow down. The trailer frames her as someone carrying the weight of consequences far bigger than herself. And when those consequences arrive, they won't just affect her career. They will ripple outward, hitting Tommy, Cammy, and the entire structure holding the company together. At the same time, the emotional tension inside Tommy's home continues to build. Angela's confidence remains unshaken, but the trailer hints that her certainty may soon clash with reality. While she enjoys control and comfort, Tommy is drowning in responsibility. That imbalance is no longer sustainable. Episode 7 teases moments where frustration bleeds into silence, and silence becomes resentment. When people stop arguing, it's often because they're already preparing for separation. TL's presence grows heavier as well. He doesn't need to dominate scenes anymore. His words linger, his advice cuts deeper, and his past feels closer than ever to becoming Tommy's future. The trailer strongly suggests that Tommy's fear isn't just about losing his job. It's about losing himself, becoming bitter, becoming stuck, becoming a man who lives only in memories instead of making new ones. One of the most chilling elements of the Episode 7 trailer is how normal everything looks on the surface. There are no shouting matches, no dramatic threats, no obvious villains. Instead, there's paperwork, phone calls, quiet meetings, and unreadable expressions. This is how real power shifts happen. Slowly, quietly, without warning. And by the time someone realizes what's happening, it's already done. Episode 7 feels like the moment where consequences stop being theoretical. The mistakes of earlier episodes are no longer hidden. They're about to be exposed, assigned, and punished. And the biggest question hanging over the episode isn't who made the wrong choice, it's who will be forced to take the blame when everything finally collapses. By the time Episode 7 reaches its final moments, the danger isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, calculated, and impossible to escape. The final stretch of the Episode 7 trailer makes one thing painfully obvious. This is no longer a story about fixing problems. It's about enduring consequences. Tommy enters this phase already exhausted, mentally cornered, and emotionally worn down. The confidence that once defined him has been replaced with hesitation, and that hesitation is exactly what the people around him are waiting for. In Landman, weakness is never ignored. It's exploited. The trailer strongly hints that blame is about to be assigned, and Tommy's name sits dangerously close to the top of that list. Cammy's behavior becomes colder, more distant, as if she's already separating herself from the mess. She doesn't attack Tommy directly. She doesn't need to. Her silence, her careful positioning, and her growing alignment with Galliano say everything. When survival becomes the priority, Loyalty becomes optional. Episode 7 feels like the moment Cammy chooses the company over the man who helped build it. Galliano's influence reaches its peak here. He doesn't celebrate. He doesn't gloat. He simply waits. The trailer frames him as someone stepping into a power vacuum that others created for him. If Tommy falls, Galliano doesn't push him. He replaces him. That's what makes the situation so terrifying. There's no villain monologue, no dramatic reveal. Just a quiet shift where one man loses control and another gains it without resistance. Rebecca's arc appears to collide directly with Tommy's fate in these final moments. The trailer suggests her decision triggers a chain reaction she can't stop. What she believed would protect the company may end up putting it in even greater danger. When she realizes this, panic replaces certainty. Her urgency turns into regret. And when she looks for someone to help fix the damage, the only person left standing is Tommy. But by then, he may no longer have the power to save anyone, not even himself. Angela remains a fascinating contrast to all of this. While careers are crumbling and alliances are breaking, she continues to move through life with unshakable confidence. But episode 7 subtly suggests that her world may soon feel the impact of Tommy's downfall. Comfort built on instability never lasts. And when the money, status, or protection disappear, confidence alone won't be enough to hold everything together. Teal's presence in the final moments of the trailer feels almost prophetic. His words echo louder than his actions. He represents a future Tommy fears but can't seem to avoid. A man shaped by regret, hardened by loss, and forced to live off memories instead of possibilities. Episode 7 makes it clear that Tommy is standing at a defining crossroads. Not just professionally, but personally. The question is no longer whether he will lose something, it's what he will become after the loss. What makes this episode especially powerful is its restraint. The trailer doesn't promise resolution. It promises fallout. This feels like the kind of episode that ends not with answers, but with realization. The realization that some mistakes can't be undone, that some doors don't reopen, and that survival sometimes comes at the cost of identity. By the end of episode 7, Landman appears ready to strip Tommy down to his core. No authority, no safety net, no illusions. Just a man forced to confront the reality he's been avoiding all season. And if the trailer is telling us the truth, this episode isn't the end of the storm. It's the moment Tommy realizes he's standing right in the center of it.